They say love is in the air tonight.
Welcome on into the AZ Wildcats pregame show. Live from Brett Gleason's office down at the McKale Center. And also from Circle K. We love our good friends over at Circle K. We're in Studio K, I should say, here at PHNX HQ3. At least I am. My guy Kevin Thomas is down there in Tucson for what is one of the biggest games of the season here. The Arizona Wildcats, #1 team in the country, taking on number 16 Texas Tech on College Gameday. And you could just feel the hype and the vibes around this basketball program right now, Kevin. It is the truly hottest ticket in college basketball, and you are right there present in the building. How does it feel to be at the Alkeme Arena, I guess we're calling it?
Yeah, I'm at the bottom of the cauldron of the Alkeme Arena right now. Yeah, you said it. I'm live from Brett Gleason's office. Shout out to Brett Gleason for being on vacation so that I could take over his working space. And you brought it up, right, Damon? Like, the vibes are absolutely incredible here right now. We just had 8,700 people in McKale Arena or McKale Center at Alkeme Arena for the women's basketball game against Arizona State. And while that didn't end the way that maybe it should have ended, maybe potentially in regulation, maybe potentially with an Arizona win, it's an ASU win. But I think the vibes here are still pretty damn good. You have almost 9,000 people here for what's now an 11-14 women's basketball team on ESPN College Gameday, on Arizona versus Texas Tech Day. So I expect McKale here in about, I don't know, 90 or so minutes to get pretty full and pretty loud pretty early.
Well, Kevin, I don't know why you're checking your watch and saying 90 or so minutes, because we're just 30 minutes prior to tip-off here as we embark on our pregame show.
So true.
No, that's a little peek behind the curtain inside baseball. We are pre-recording this so Kevin can get some pregame festivities done, such as go to the Caleb Love press conference, Kevin. Your guy, Caleb Love, getting honored tonight, already added to that ring of honor, already spoke today on the McKale Center floor, but he's going to be talking to media later. Excited for that, I presume?
Very excited for that. I was talking to the great Erica Day about this, after I posted that tweet with the photo of Caleb Love's name in the Raptors already. How is that not covered? We're not doing a reveal. We're just going to do a point up and hope he didn't look before the beginning of the game. It's not the end of the world, but odd. I did I was looking for the covered name. And then I was like, oh, wait, his name is already up there, uncovered. He's pretty much been inducted. But yeah, no, I'm super pumped for that. I'm excited to see potentially what he has to say here before the game going into Texas Tech.
Are you going to potentially interject with not really a question, but hey, Caleb, comment, I'm from St. Louis.
Hey, Caleb, question. What high school did you go to? It's rhetorical. You went to CVC, but you don't know what high school I went to. I went to Parkway Central, and you dunked in my gym a couple times.
I already knew that because I used to go to your games, but I just kind of wanted you to ask me what high school I went to because I'm also from St. Louis. So I guess not really a question, more of a comment. But if you want to grab a drink after this or something, let me know.
Caleb, how long are you in town for? Do you want to talk about your old teammate Robert Martin playing for SEMO, I think, these days? Like, is he hitting the portal? Can we talk about some little insider baseball, Caleb? But no, honestly, it is really cool. I was talking to Nate Weikerst, associate, everything over here, a.k.a. Brett Gleason sometimes as well. But Nate's, we were talking about the vibes going on with Game Day and Caleb Love here. And it's Valentine's Day. I know that sounds kind of silly almost to say, but it's a nice excuse. If you're an Arizona Wildcat fan and your significant other's an Arizona Wildcat fan, why not show up to the game and get rowdy and get loud? It's a great time. And you have Caleb Love in town and all these things conflating. And you're right. The vibes here are immaculate right now.
That is #real love, Kevin, if I've ever heard it. Valentine's Day with your significant other at McKale Center. I mean, does it get any better than that on a college game day? And speaking of College Game Day, I mean, it's always pretty cool when College Game Day makes its way to Tucson, and we get to like kind of represent nationally, I would say. And it looked like the fan base really showed out this morning on College Game Day, and then you have Jay Williams reveal with his shirt that he is backing the Wildcats, and does so by kind of poking fun at getting a free piggyback ride from Jason Gardner. But I guess it was a nice thing. I mean, I'm still trying to kind of do the internal math on that one in my head. How did you kind of take in the entire game day experience?
It was cool. I mean, I was a viewer, right? I was listening to it on my drive down, right? It wasn't necessarily like I was in the building. I'm sure it would have been a lot more electric if I was like Alex Rabb, who was front and center, I think, since like 5:30 in the morning, whenever the line started. And he got a shout out instantly. We're talking about hashtag real love. I think it was Seth Greenberg looks at Alex's sign and goes, which Alex's sign read like, I don't know, thanks for letting me come to game day, honey, or something like that, right? And Seth Greenberg like opens the show. It's like it's Valentine's Day, and this guy's girlfriend let him go to game day. How cool is that? So yeah, no, real love. But I don't know what the vibes were in the building. It looked pretty damn good. But on the drive in, I think it was a pretty, dare I say, fair assessment of Arizona by ESPN throughout the entire broadcast, as much as it can be with ESPN talking about Arizona and Michigan and Duke and all these other teams. They were definitely trying to shoehorn a little bit of Arizona versus Michigan discussion in there, which it's what you're going to get. But it wasn't too crazy. Nothing crazy was really said. But Jay Williams not ripping, but pulling up the shirt and exposing Arizona, it's your turn. It was awkward. I'm not going to lie. It was a little awkward.
Yeah, that was a weird one for sure, and it did feel like there was a lot of like the Michigan Arizona collision course is happening right now type of talk, and they just can't help themselves. They have to throw in Michigan alongside when Arizona is in the spotlight. But I do think it's still cool to have this kind of national attention and love for the program and Tommy, right? Like Tommy, every time that you get Tommy in front of a mic, in front of a big audience, I feel like that just helps Arizona tenfold, because the guy he's such a good speaker. He's such a good communicator, and he's just so likable. That's the one, like not every college coach is anywhere close to likable, Kevin, whether it's Mick Cronin, Bobby Hurley, you name it. Like there's a lot of guys out there who are kind of curmudgeons, or they're very like rough on the edges. Tommy Lloyd is not that guy. He just seems like a very personable, nice guy. And he goes out of his way to thank Lute Olson and shout out Sean Miller, and he does it again. And then he talks about how there's going to be someone after him, but he's just, blessed and thankful to be here in this moment and be the guy that is the steward of this program right now. And then he goes on to talk about Jaden Bradley and his leadership, Tobe Awaka being a BAMF. I mean, it was a great appearance from Tommy Lloyd, I thought, on game day today. And yeah, I mean, every time that guy talks, I just get fired up, Kevin.
I sincerely did not expect a DJ Tommy appearance. That definitely shook me to my core on a game day, seeing Tommy, getting it done on the turntables. That was impressive. But yeah, every time DJ Tommy, aka Tommy Lloyd, I don't know if they're the same person. Haven't seen him in the same room. But yeah, Tommy Lloyd, absolute pleasure every time he gets to talk about not only this team, but just the game of basketball, just the game of life. It's nice listening to Tommy.
Drop some Tommies in the chat if you guys are supporting club members right now. I know that Deborah Owens, Max, all the GOATs are here in the chat right now. So Kevin, please, let's help me and Kevin out. Become supporting club members, $5 a month. Not a whole lot in the way of extra content, but you get to have some special, things, that icons that you get to use in the chat here. And then it's just a nice way of showing some support and love to PHNX Sports here. And what we do. So appreciate everybody who is a supporting club member. If you want to sign up, real simple, you get a super chat out of it as well. We also have a diehard sale, I think, going on right now, Kevin. I think it's 60% off. And we have not done a good enough job of promoting that. If you become a diehard right now, 60% off, you get a free t-shirt, get that turnover sword t-shirt. Kevin and I are currently, hopefully, in the works on a basketball t-shirt. So Kevin and I are trying to put meetings of the minds together. I mean, it's no telling what these two brainiacs could come up with. And hopefully we can get something going for you guys on the basketball side of things soon here as well. But shout out to everybody here in the chat. Please drop a like on this video. And Kevin, should we get into some shots fired?
Ooh, yeah, definitely.
let's do some shots fired. Of course, sponsored by our friends over at Three Amigos Tequila, the Valley's favorite tequila, Arizona's favorite tequila. We love to party with our friends at Three Amigos Tequila. Kevin, what do you got for us?
You know, this is more of a desk pop. If you've seen that movie, you know. If you know, you know. But I don't really have any Three Amigos with me. Didn't really take it on the road. But I will say Damon probably has just enough for the both of us in that studio. So I will
You
fire
wouldn't
my
be
shot.
surprised, Kevin. You wouldn't be surprised at all. I'm pretty sure. I could be wrong. But I'm going back to Colorado, Arizona pregame for football.
Hmm.
And I'm taking myself back to Boulder, Colorado before we went belt to ass on the Buffs. And you, I believe, took a shot for me on that show. So I think it's just a tradition here at this point. Whoever is holding down the fort, it's double shots, baby.
Yeah, you gotta pitch in when your teammate can't. You know what I mean? You got to do your part. So I appreciate Damon doing his part today with our friends over at Three Amigos. But I will say I'll fire my shot at the people of Lubbock because I don't really have any beef with Grant McCaslin. In fact, I like Rem Bakamus as well. Right? Shout out to the Rem game of it all. And I think JT Toppin's a fun player to watch. I think Christian Anderson's a ton of fun to watch. So I will fire my shot at the people of Lubbock because you do not have saguaro cacti. You don't really have edible tortillas. You like to throw them around like they're frisbees. No good tortilla should be able to get flung around like a frisbee for 40 yards. So learn what real Mexican food is and learn what type of cacti you got in your damn state. People of Lubbock, shots fired. That's what I got.
I love it, Kevin. I absolutely love it.
Salud. Shout out to Damon for taking my shot on my behalf. Who knows? Who knows? Maybe a shot is in my future at some point tonight. Who knows?
Oh, I would be shocked if it wasn't, Kevin. I would be absolutely shocked if it wasn't. Let me see. That was a lot. I mean, those are good shots fired at Texas Tech, a program that I think that we want to have a budding rivalry with in sports, but isn't quite there yet. But it makes sense, I think, for Arizona and Texas Tech to be rivals. I think it makes sense for both Arizona schools, honestly, to be rivals with Texas Tech, kind of conventionally similar to like BYU. How I think it's just a natural kind of fitting rivalry, especially being good at both basketball and football. You're bound to get some big games here between these two programs. I guess, you know what, Kevin? I'm calling my shot now on Shots Fired, sponsored by Three Amigos Tequila. And let me get that on the screen there. Jaden Bradley comeback performance tonight on Christian Anderson's head will feed families for generations, Kevin. Now, Jaden Bradley played perhaps his worst game of the season last time out. I'm saying right now, no mas. That's not happening again. Jaden Bradley is going to come out ready to go in front of this home crowd, popping. And I just expect him to perform, Kevin. I expect him to respond after a really poor performance versus Kansas that I think that he would probably be the first to tell you was a game that he probably wears on his shoulders the way that he played in that one, as does, I'm sure, a lot of players on the roster, Koa included. But I know Jaden was feeling that one, right? And I just think that this dude has gone up and gone toe-to-toe with pretty much all of the best point guards he's faced all season long, minus Melvin Council, who really took it to him in that Kansas game. And I know that eats at him. But he's got a big, big, big op on the table tonight, Kevin, in Christian Anderson. Christian Anderson is quite possibly the best point guard in the country. I mean, he's certainly up there with Braden Smith, Kingston Flemings. He's in that class of the elite point guards in college basketball. And I think Jaden Bradley, I'm going to say it right now, he outplays Christian Anderson tonight. I don't think Jaden Bradley, you get the best of Jaden Bradley 2 games in a row. So my shots fired is at Christian Anderson because, buddy, you do not know what's coming. The Jaden Bradley
Christian
show.
Anderson probably going to play all 40 minutes tonight. And if there is some sort of overtime situation, he will play all of the overtime minutes as well. So hopefully he gets tired out there. I don't know if that's a thing that Christian Anderson does, but hopefully he gets tired. And yeah, I'm with you. I definitely think Jaden Bradley bounces back tonight. Even if Christian Anderson has a good game, like by statistical standards, I do think that Jaden Bradley has just as good of a game as Christian Anderson. But it's tough to compare the two because they're asked to do such totally different things, right? Like Christian Anderson is going to be out there tasked with winning 50% of the game for his team, and JT Toppin's going to be tasked with winning 45% of the game. And then Donovan Atwell, LaJuan Watts, Jazz Henderson, name the rest of the guys, Luke Ale Boumbaye, they got 5% combined, right? So Jaden Bradley, if he goes out there and gets 15 and 6 on good efficiency and good defense, that's a good Jaden Bradley game by my book. So I do think he bounces back. I agree with you.
I would love to know what Christian Anderson's usage is. Like,
Mm.
what is his usage rate? I bet you it is astronomically high, like
Yeah, it
in the
probably is.
40% range. And you're just like, wow. I mean, this guy
Uh,
is the entire Texas Tech offense, essentially.
to pull back the curtain, I know I sent a graphic into our Slack the other week of like a chart with like red, yellow, and green usage and rim. I don't know if it was usage, but it was like rim percent and usage might have been in there, and he might be on that. So if I don't know if you wanted to look into that, you might have your answer in our Slack somewhere. But
The
I'll
drive
say
rate
this,
one?
like, yeah, I don't know if usage was in there, but it might have been.
It's Christian Anderson's drive rate is only 23.4%, second lowest after Darren Peterson. His rim field goal percentage is 60.3%, which is actually the worst here on this list outside of Keaton Vogler. But his assist to turnover ratio is 2.41, which is one of the better marks in college basketball here. So interesting statistics. I mean, Christian Anderson is a phenomenal player. And like you said, you might look at the box score at the end of the night and say, oh, he got the job done versus Jaden Bradley. But I think that we're talking about different scales as to which they run the offense and have the ball in their hands. And I think that there's a world in which Jaden Bradley's stats look worse than Christian Anderson's, but he outplayed Christian Anderson in a way that makes the game kind of open up, if that makes sense. So I think that's obviously the matchup, I think, tonight, that and maybe whoever is on JT Toppin. But I'm really excited for another elite point guard battle between these two. Kevin, you got some keys to the game for the people. Should we get into them?
Let's do it. So my keys to the game for this one, I got number one, pick and roll defense. As Damon kind of outlined right there, Jaden Bradley is going to be a huge piece of key number one, because that pick and roll between Christian Anderson and JT Toppin, or whoever else wants to be running that pick and roll for Texas Tech, is going to be a huge part of what they try to do to find success tonight. And I think it's incumbent upon Burries, Bradley, Kharchenkov to stay stuck to their guys, or whatever Tommy Lloyd's plan is with the pick and roll, whether they're going to ice it, hedge it, switch it, whatever the hell they're going to do with it. But it's on Arizona to make sure their pick and roll defense is disciplined tonight, because you cannot let Texas Tech get going with basketball 101 pick and roll stuff, right? Because that is JT Toppin and Christian Anderson will eat you alive in the pick and roll. So I think Arizona has to make sure their defensive pick and roll attitude is there. Now, key number two, stopping Atwell and Watts. I think JT Toppin and Christian Anderson could combine for, I don't know, 60 points in this game, and Texas Tech could still lose. Now that's not
crazy.
That's not realistic. Yeah, it's not realistic, but you get my point. There's a little bit of hyperbole in that sentence, but they could go off and Texas Tech could still lose, because the sum of Arizona's parts are greater than JT Toppin and Christian Anderson, at least on paper, in my opinion. I think it's up to Donovan Atwell to shoot a bunch of threes and shoot them efficiently in this game for Texas Tech if they're going to get it done. And LaJuan Watts, like we talked about it, I don't know if I can say this in the comms office, but booty ball is going to be out and about tonight for Texas Tech. And it's about Arizona stopping that. I think Arizona has the front court size, the front court physicality to put that to rest and not let booty ball affect them. But you cannot let LaJuan Watts and Donovan Atwell get going and be the supplemental production for Texas Tech.
What does Koa Peat have in store for us, Kevin? What about key number three?
Koa Peat is one of those advantages you have to use to wear down Texas Tech, whether it be in transition or the half court. Texas Tech is not a very deep team. So if you can run out in transition, wear down their cardio, if you can bang in the paint with them, force them under the basket, that's going to go a long way towards winning this game. So it's going to be a battle of attrition that Arizona should win.
Yeah, Texas Tech, one of the smaller teams in all of Power 5, as Kevin and I researched and figured out. They are, I believe, the second smallest team after TCU in the entire Big 12, and not necessarily a recipe for success against Arizona. I think, you almost put yourself in a box where you need Christian Anderson and JT Toppin to have the type of game that you just talked about, Kevin, and then you need a couple other players to show up and help you out on top of that. And it's almost it feels like Texas Tech, in order to win in this game, is really going to need a perfect culmination of events to happen 99 times out of 100. The Wildcats win this one. And spoiler alert, Kevin and I both have Arizona Wildcats W's here on our score predictions. I got 90-80. And I think this one will be high scoring. I think it'll be back and forth, but I think it's right around where that line was set at, Kevin, of 9.5, 10.5, because I think Vegas knows what they're talking about here. It doesn't really, on paper, I guess, scream that it makes sense, I guess. I think people that are more casual probably will look at that and say, man, coming off a loss, I think I'm taking Texas Tech in this one and the points. But I think I really do think that Arizona is kind of on a mission tonight, and I think the Wildcats get the W and do it fairly easily.
No, yeah, I agree with you. I have 87-79 for mine. I think last time when they played in the Big 12 tournament, I think Arizona won 86-80. I think I want to say something around that range. I do think Arizona gets into the 80s in this one. I think that the offense is going to be versatile enough, and I think Texas Tech by the end of the game is going to be quite tired. I would assume at least, and I do think Arizona gets this done. You did say though that maybe that you were pulling a 60 points from me. Maybe you were doing a little bit of hyperbole, but you said 99 times out of 100, Arizona wins this game. I think the biggest question mark in terms of what Texas Tech brings to the table uniquely against Arizona, and we touched on this yesterday, but the Grant McCasland, Tommy Lloyd relationship. Not only that, but the REM relationship with this staff as well. Like Texas Tech and Arizona, they know each other very well, way better than most Big 12 teams do, I think, especially like non-in-state rival Big 12 teams. I feel like this could be a real coaching chess match that I'm excited to watch because, I think Arizona is the better team 100 times out of 100. However, that intangible variable of the coaching and them having potentially the two best guys on the floor, you never know what could go down with that. So it's going to be a great game, and hopefully Arizona pulls away in the end.
Yeah, protect home floor, protect the McKale Center, Kevin, and protect this.
Protect Brett Gleason's office.
Protect Brett Gleason's office, and protect this absolute piece that I pulled out for the show today, Kevin. I mean, if that isn't fire, I don't know what is. Fire. I'm always looking for the next piece, another Grail found, and I just have to show
you know what I got. This is not great podcasting, but hold on, bear with me.
I will. Wow. That's special. You bought that?
Yeah, special.
Wow, Kevin. Was that
honestly
a purchase?
No, it was on the concourse at the women's game.
Wow.
They had this and a bunch of like game day merch on the concourse, really cool. And I had to take off the media pass and go purchase that mug.
You and your buddy. You and your pal. I mean, it's your header on Twitter for a reason. You and Wilbur, you go way back. College drinking buddies, I'm pretty sure. Wilbur Wildcat and Kevin Thomas.
Wilbur wears a headset, so he could have actually been a college drinking buddy, and I would not be any the wiser. So yeah.
Probably was, Kevin. We got a big game here in just a few minutes here at McKale Center. Arizona taking on Texas Tech. Kevin and I going to be live on postgame. Is Saul Bookman going to be joining us on postgame?
Yes.
Cool. So we got Saul, we got Kevin, we got Damon on a postgame show. I will be here holding the fort down. Kevin and Saul both will be live in Tucson. It's going to be absolutely electric here as game day is in Tucson. We embark on the tip-off of this game and absolutely just cannot wait for another Big 12 box office matchup, Kevin. I mean, this conference is the conference that just keeps on giving when you talk about, the premier matchups that happen on a week-by-week basis. And this is no different here. Arizona taking on Texas Tech, a game that if Arizona wins, they absolutely unequivocally should be the number one team in the country still come Monday. And we'll be talking about that on postgame, win or lose, what we saw in this one, but we'll be talking about a win. You take that one to the bank. We got Damon, we got Kevin, and we got Saul on the postgame. Until then, peace out, bear down, everybody, and
go Cats. And then let's get back on track. Thank you, Brett Gleason, for letting me use your humble abode.
We all silly like the mayor.